The night journey, al-Isra, and ascension, al-Miraj. A turning point of spiritual elevation, divine support, and timeless legacy. Setting in context. Near the end of the Makkan period, the Prophet was surrounded by sorrow and persecution, especially after the year of grief. Amid this hardship, Allah granted him a miraculous journey, to spiritually uplift and prepare him for the coming migration and the establishment of Islam in Medina. The journey begins, from Mecca to Jerusalem. One night, the Prophet Muhammad was physically transported from Al-Masjid al-Haram, sacred mosque in Mecca, to Al-Masjid al-Aqsa, farthest mosque in Jerusalem. He rode al-Buraq, a heavenly white steed, with the angel Gabriel, as his companion. At al-Aqsa, he led all the past prophets in prayer, symbolizing his leadership over all previous divine missions. The ascension to the heavens, al-Miraj. From Jerusalem, the Prophet ascended through the 7 heavens, meeting prophets along the way. First heaven, Adam, a.s., welcomed him and affirmed his prophethood. Second heaven, Yahya, John, and Esa with Makron, Jesus, embraced him with peace. Third heaven, Yusuf, Joseph, honored him for his noble traits. Fourth heaven, Idris, Enoch, welcomed him as a fellow prophet. Fifth heaven, Harun, Aaron, recognized him as a true messenger. Sixth heaven, Musa, Moses, welcomed him but later wept, foreseeing that more followers of Muhammad would enter paradise than his own. Seventh heaven, Abraham, the father of prophets, seated by Al-Bayt al-Mamr, heavenly Kaaba. Sidrat al-Muntaha in divine presence. Beyond the 7th heaven lies Sidrat al-Muntaha, the lote tree of the utmost boundary, a place none but the Prophet was permitted to pass. There, he witnessed the divine presence. Al-Bayt al-Mamr, visited daily by 70,000 angels, never to return again until the day of judgment. The realms of paradise and hell. He was given the gift of 50 daily prayers, directly from Allah. The gift of prayer and the compassion of Musa, a.s. On descending, Moses, a.s., advised him repeatedly to ask for reduction, knowing the burden on humanity. After returning to Allah multiple times, the prayers were finally reduced to 5 daily prayers. Despite this, Allah said, "They are 5, but in reward, they are 50. I have decreed my obligation and reduced the burden on my servants." Meaning and legacy. This event affirms the Prophet's unmatched status, being the only human to experience the divine presence in this way. It establishes the 5 daily prayers, as a direct gift and obligation from Allah, the spiritual merge of every believer. The journey reveals unity among all prophets, divine mercy, and the ultimate truth of Islam. Additional events and symbolism from the night journey, Isra wal Mairaj. 1. Did the Prophet see Allah? A central theological question that has sparked scholarly debate. Some scholars, including Ibn Abbas, interpreted the word ruya, vision, in the Quran as a physical sight, suggesting that the Prophet saw Allah with his eyes. Others maintained that he did not see Allah directly, but rather witnessed his signs, glory, and nearness, which cannot be described in human terms. The verse in Surah An-Najm, "Then he approached and came closer," Quran 53:8, is generally understood by many scholars to refer to Gabriel, not Allah himself. 2. The cleansing of the heart. Before the journey began, Gabriel opened the Prophet's chest, extracted his heart, and washed it with Zamzam water, symbolizing purification and spiritual preparation for what lay ahead. 3. The vessels of milk and wine. 2 vessels were presented to the Prophet. One containing milk, the other wine. He chose milk, and Gabriel told him, "You have chosen al-Fira, the natural disposition. Had he chosen wine, his people would have gone astray." This symbolizes the Prophet's perfect alignment with natural guidance and truth. 4. The 4 rivers. The Prophet saw 2 visible rivers, the Nile and the Euphrates. 2 hidden rivers, symbolic or spiritual rivers in paradise. The Nile and Euphrates are interpreted as symbols of regions where Islam would flourish and remain firmly rooted. These represent the earthly support for the Prophet's mission and the future influence of Islam. 5. Visions of Hell and its inhabitants. The Prophet was shown scenes from hellfire, revealing the consequences of specific sins. Those who consumed orphans' wealth, with camel-like jaws, swallowing burning stones. Those involved in usury, riba bloated bellies, crushed by other sinners. Adulterers and adulteresses, offered good meat but chose rotten meat, women hung by their breasts. All reflecting their moral choices and sins on earth. These visions served as graphic, moral reminders of the gravity of injustice, exploitation, and immorality. 6. The angel Malik, guardian of hell. The Prophet saw Malik, the grim-faced angel in charge of hell. He did not smile, a reflection of the terrifying reality he oversees. It was a moment meant to instill awe of divine justice. 7. Earthly signs to prove the journey. When Quraysh challenged the Prophet's claim, he described details of a caravan he had seen on the way back. Items he drank from, whose vessels he covered. Camels that were approaching, confirming what he had witnessed. These verifiable signs silenced some skeptics and proved the truth of the journey to believers. Conclusion, a test of faith and prophetic truth. The night journey was not only a physical and spiritual miracle, but also a test for the early Muslims. While some people left Islam, others like Abu Bakr as-Siddiq declared without hesitation. If he said it, then it is the truth. The disbelievers' reaction and the proofs of truth. 1. The Quraysh mocked the Prophet. The disbelievers used the miraculous journey as an opportunity to ridicule Islam. They questioned the Prophet about Masjid al-Aqsa, confident he could not answer accurately. To their astonishment, he described Jerusalem's features in precise detail, including the mosque's architecture, travel routes of caravans, camels' descriptions and timing of their return. 2. Refusal to believe despite evidence. Despite the accurate and verifiable signs, the Quraysh persisted in disbelief. Their hearts were sealed not due to a lack of proof, but due to arrogance and spiritual blindness. The faith of Abu Bakr and his title as Siddiq. When the Quraysh attempted to shake the faith of Abu Bakr, he instantly replied, "If he, Muhammad, said it, then it is true." This unwavering trust earned him the revered title as Siddiq, the verifier of truth. Quranic confirmation and divine wisdom. Purpose of the journey. In order that we might show him, Muhammad, of our signs. Al-Isra 17:1. The journey was not entertainment, but a spiritual elevation to witness divine realities and strengthen the Prophet's certainty. Yakin. Similar examples from other prophets. Abraham. Thus did we show Abraham the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. Quran 6 hours 75 minutes. Musa, Moses. That we may show you some of our greater signs. Quran 20:23. These verses show that seeing divine signs is part of the preparation and empowerment for prophetic missions. Spiritual implications and leadership transition. Link to Surah Al-Isra, 17. After the first verse about Al-Isra, the surah shifts focus to condemnation of Jewish corruption. Admonition about broken covenants. Declaration that the Quran guides to what is best. Message to the Jews. The spiritual leadership of mankind, once held by the children of Israel, was being revoked. Their betrayal and repeated covenant violations disqualified them. Transfer of authority to the Ummah of Muhammad. The Prophet, through the Quran and this miraculous journey, was now entrusted with both holy sanctuaries, Mecca and Jerusalem. Spiritual leadership of mankind. Conclusion, a turning point in prophethood. Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj was not only a miracle but also a validation of prophethood, a test of faith, a transfer of spiritual leadership. A preparation for the Hijra and establishment of a just Islamic society in Medina. And when we decide to destroy a town, population, we, first, send a definite order, to obey Allah and be righteous, to those among them, or we, first, increase in number those of its population, who are given the good things of this life. Then, they transgress therein, and thus the word, of torment, is justified against it, them. Then we destroy it with complete destruction. And how many generations, past nations, have we destroyed after Noah? And sufficient is your Lord as an all-knower and all-beholder of the sins of his slaves. Al-Quran 17:16, 17, together with these verses, there were others revealed to show the Muslims the rules and items of the civilization upon which they could erect their Muslim community, and foreshadowing their ownership of a piece of land, exercising full freedom over it and establishing a coherent society around whose axis the whole humanity would rotate. Those verses in reality implied better prospects for the Prophet, comprising a secure shelter to settle in, and headquarters safe enough to empower and embolden him to communicate his message to all the world at large. That was in fact the inner secret of that blessed journey. For this very wisdom and the like we deem it appropriate to suggest that, the night journey, took place either before the first pledge of Aqaba or between the two. After all, Allah knows best.